A very good morning. Welcome to Mornings with Ken Rosato. Today is Thursday, March 19th, 2026. It is St. Joseph's Day. I know a lot of you saying, what's St. Joseph's Day? Well, it's big in the Italian American community. It's what St. Patrick's Day is to the Irish American community. We'll talk about it later a little bit. We'll take your calls in the meantime at 888-658-0234 to kick things off. Meteorologist Mike Favetta, who knows a thing or two about St. Joseph's Day, has the forecast near you.
This weather is brought to you by Audio Nova, your hearing experts, serving all of New Jersey with 13 locations.
Tell you, Mike, with my voice the way it sounds right now, I think people
Mm.
are going to need a double Audio Nova just to hear my voice. It's definitely not a good voice. How are you, sir?
Well, it
Happy
is
San
that
Jose.
time of year, Happy St. Joseph's Day, where you get quite a bit of the change in the weather. You get the allergens. You see the tree buds already on the trees. The pollens are starting, and yeah, even I have a little congestion myself. So it's just it's that thing where it's going around, and if you feel that you're well, it's the allergies will probably get you on the flip side. We have a lot of sunshine in today's forecast, and that's the great news. Yesterday, while it was cloudy to start, we finished off the day nice and sunny and mild, and today, well, it's cool to begin. Temperatures are on either side of freezing. We've actually warmed up anywhere from 5 to 9 degrees warmer than this time yesterday. Winds are not all that harsh, and even with the clearing sky working in our favor today, all of the Audio Nova Clinic locations warming into the upper 40s and even some low 50s, like in central New Jersey, there toward Monroe and Freehold, 50 degrees right down the turnpike. So we start off the day with a few passing clouds, but eventually keep it partly sunny through the afternoon. And by the end of the day, more of those clouds roll in for tomorrow. I think tomorrow is a very similar scene, have temperatures that warm into the 40s and 50s. But by later tomorrow night, that's where things start to change because some rain moves in all across New Jersey and gives us that wet weather before temperatures climb to near 60. Then they come crashing down for Saturday and Sunday and bring back another threat of some passing showers into the end of the weekend. But some places manage to make it up to 60 degrees. So it's kind of depending on your location as to where we see not only the warmth, but also a little bit of the wet weather, because some spotty showers in there this weekend. As highs try to climb to a springtime feel, Ken, of 64 degrees. Starting to look a little more like spring around here and feel like it too as we enter the first weekend in spring. More details on the forecast coming up.
I hear you, sir. It is 64 degrees, by the way, right now in Los Angeles, where it's going to get really hot, as you know, low
Yeah.
90s. And then looking at Trenton, Trenton is 31, it's 35 in northern New Jersey. So such a disparity. But things are going to gradually get closer and closer together as we get toward and after the beginning of spring. So I'm looking forward to that. Now, if we could just get the voice to work through this morning, we're in good shape. Did you do anything special for St. Joseph's Day, my fellow
Do we
Italo
have the whole
Americano?
family over? Have the pasta with the breadcrumbs, which resembles the sawdust of Saint Joseph, the carpenter. So there's a
Carpenter.
whole the symbolism behind the meal.
So we do. Have you ever heard of? It's a Northern Italian slash Yugoslavian shrimp dish called shrimp or scampi, busara. Have you ever heard of this?
I've heard of it.
So,
Yeah.
so it is. I guess the woman who made it famous in America is Lydia Bastianich. And remember, she comes from that Friuli part of Italy, right by the border of what was Yugoslavia, Croatia, that area. And it's a shrimp dish in a very light tomato broth, but they serve it at St. Joseph's Day because they do the breadcrumbs on top. And again, it's symbolic of the sawdust because we believe that the word in Hebrew was that he was a hand worker. He could have done anything with his hands, but the tradition is that he was a carpenter and he taught Jesus that. So there we have it. Thank you, sir. We'll pass
Yeah.
it on. All right, Mike, we'll check back. It is 7:05 right now, East Coast, 4:05 West Coast. We do have a crash to report right now on the East Coast here, the Garden State Parkway. There's a crash northbound, south of exit 129, which is the exit for the New Jersey Turnpike and Woodbridge. All lanes are open. You can just see they're brake checking just because traffic isn't so heavy there right now. But within the hour, if that crash isn't cleared up, you're going to see a little bit more traffic building up. Your Hudson River crossings right now, Lincoln Tunnel is reporting 40 minutes. Holland is only 25. GWB has a truck restriction in place. And that is on the lower level. All lanes are open, but you can see the lower level on the left. I don't know why they're saying now a truck restriction is in place. Oh, they're saying, I'm sorry, as of noon. there will be a truck restriction in place. So that means all those trucks you see on the left side, which are going to the lower level, they'll put up a sign saying that they can't come into the GWB. So they're probably doing some kind of construction as of midday. Just be aware of that. Lower level on the left, upper on the right, it's going to cost you 40 minutes in. It is 7:06 right now east and 4:06 west. Israel has killed yet another Iranian leader in the military, Ali Larijani. Iran has been retaliating using cluster bombs sent on missiles to Israel, causing deaths and damage in some areas. As a result, tensions between Iran and Israel are on the rise. Iran's supreme leader, who, by the way, has not been seen since he was named supreme leader, so there's a question as to whether he's really alive, Mojtaba Khamenei, warned that those responsible will pay for the attacks, or somebody who is speaking for him is saying that. Oil prices jumped above $100 a barrel, raising concerns about higher gas prices worldwide. Shipping in the Strait of Hormuz has been disrupted, affecting global trade, and the U.S. government is taking steps to increase the world's oil supply. Technology groups tied to AI and cryptocurrency spent millions trying to influence Illinois primary elections. The spending mainly targeted Democrats and their races and supported candidates seen as less likely to regulate the industries. Many of the candidates backed by these groups lost, showing limits to their political influence for now. Some groups spent heavily against candidates like Juliana Stratton, who still did win her race. The spending sparked debate within the Democrat Party about corporate influence in politics. While he was once a darling for America's far left, Cesar Chavez, a communist embracing iconic civil rights leader who died in 1993, is now accused in a new report of sexually abusing girls and women decades ago. Dolores Huerta, who is co-founder of United Farm Workers, said Chavez pressured her into sex one time and forced her into another encounter. Two other women told investigators that Chavez abused them when they were only 12 and 13, respectively. The report is based on interviews with more than 60 people and a review of union records and other materials. Chavez's family said they are, quote, shocked and saddened and asked for fairness as the claims are considered. Well, the University Corporation for Atmospheric Research has filed a lawsuit against actions by President Trump's administration. The lawsuit challenges plans to break up the U.S. Weather and Climate Lab, the National Center for Atmospheric Research. Officials said the center is under review and its work could be moved elsewhere. The administration is saying that they are a political slanted group to the left that only believes in climate change and won't look at anything else. The lawsuit claims the decision is unlawful and could harm public safety and scientific research. Many climate scientists believe that. Jared Polis, who is the governor of Colorado, said weakening the center could make it harder to prepare for severe weather. The White House said the review is not legal and not connected to political disagreements. Well, long security lines are increasing at American airports due to TSA staffing shortages during the government shutdown. Some 60,000 TSA workers are working right now without pay. At least 300 have left their jobs. Newark has only seen wait times of about 30 minutes thus far, but some airports have reported wait times of several hours. This is especially impactful as this is the busy spring break travel season. Travelers are urged to check airport websites for the most accurate wait times. There is an app you could download, by the way. It's the My TSA app. But they're saying it may not be very reliable right now because it's not being fully updated. There isn't somebody working there to constantly update it. It's just relying on automation. Programs like TSA PreCheck or reserving a security time slot can help travelers move through lines a little faster. Just remember, if you don't already have TSA PreCheck, if you go to apply for it now, there's nobody in the government to approve it. So you're going to have to wait until after the government shutdown is over to have your application processed. The bottom line is at this point, the Democrats do not want to consider voting this payment, basically reopening that segment of government. They don't want to approve it. And the Republicans are saying that they have the votes, so it's entirely up to the Democrats. So if you want TSA reopened, complain to your Congress member. It's 7:10 right now, East Coast 4:10 West. It's a page out of the Creepy Files. The late actor Val Kilmer will appear in digital form in a new film that was produced after his 2025 death. He died about a year ago. Kilmer had originally agreed to act in this particular movie, but he couldn't because of his oncoming health issues. His family did approve the use of AI to recreate his image and voice. The film is called As Deep as the Grave, ironically, and it's based on a true story about archaeologists. Supporters say the project follows ethical rules, including consent from Kilmer's estate. So the rules are, unless you have direct permission, you won't do this with AI. But apparently his estate said it's okay. The use of AI in movies, though, does remain very controversial, as you can imagine, with ongoing debates about actors' rights and technology, and of course, moral considerations. Somebody who has passed on, we want to see them acting in a way that, or saying things or performing in a way that we know that they didn't do in life, that it's all artificial. Something to think about. It's a bird, it's a plane. Well, it could actually be a meteor. A suspected meteor was seen streaking across the sky near Cleveland, Ohio. The object created a loud boom that shook homes and startled residents. People in several states reported seeing a bright fireball in the sky. The National Weather Service and NASA said it was likely a meteor entering Earth's atmosphere. The boom may have happened when the object broke the sound barrier, because anything moving faster than the speed of sound, which is just under 800 miles an hour, it means it's moving. Mike could better explain this than me, but if it's moving faster than sound waves can travel, it causes a ripple where the sound waves collapse on each other and you get an explosive type sound. No major injuries or damage were reported thus far. And for the record, if that meteor hits the ground, it is now called a meteorite. But many of them just burn up in the air and never do hit the ground. It is what it is. It is coming up on 7:13 right now. And by the way, Dictionary of the Year, dictionary.com, name of the year, 6-7. That's the word of the year, even though it's not really a word. How crazy are you with that? I'm done with 6-7. My nephews and nieces. All right, now we can say it. When we come back, we have first responders on a mission, how to make kids feel safe. You're watching Mornings with Ken Rosato. We're back in 2 minutes. A very good morning to you. Welcome back to Mornings with Ken Rosato for your Thursday, live in New York and New Jersey. And now we welcome Los Angeles at 15 minutes past the hour. We'll take your calls at 888-658-0234. 888-658-0234. Meteorologist Mike Favetta has the forecast near you.
This weather is brought to you by Audio Nova, your hearing experts, serving all of New Jersey with 13 locations.
All right, Mike, what are we looking at? More heat, what, low 90s in LA? And are we going to get a little milder in New Jersey?
A little bit milder in New Jersey into the weekend, but 100s in the deserts down in California. So very, very hot weather there. We'll talk about that in just a sec. We have clear sky moving into New Jersey for this morning. A couple of passing clouds into this evening. All the snow staying far away. We're looking forward to the milder trend over the coming days. Speaking of out west, record heat continues with those hundreds possible down in Phoenix and Tucson and even throughout Southern California back toward the deserts. That continues into tomorrow, where that will be probably the warmest they've seen all week long, even right down toward the coast. It finally breaks this weekend with some cooler weather and a cold front, but still, with all of that heat continuing out west, it's also very dry and not anticipating for any rain or any storms. All of that wet weather that heads toward our region by the time we get to tomorrow evening, and even have another shot that comes in on Monday. So kind of system after system lined up, but there are some mild breaks in between, even as we head into the weekend. Going into tomorrow and even this evening, we start off a little bit clear, and then here's the rain that comes in by tomorrow night. Clears out nicely by Saturday morning, which is a good dry trend for the weekend, and I think we'll start off nice and mild, but look what happens by Sunday morning. Another system tries to come on in and give us a little bit of wet weather. Might even have a rogue snowflake mixed in there to the north and western part of New Jersey. We've got more details on that and what to expect for the rest of the weekend, Ken. It's coming up in the next few minutes.
All right, sir. Thank you very much. We do have a temperature now 35 degrees, excuse me, northern New Jersey. It is 31 degrees in Trenton and West Coast, Los Angeles 64, San Diego 65 degrees at 17 minutes past the hour. Traffic in terms of Northeast right now, New Jersey, all we have is a crash on the Garden State Parkway northbound south of exit 129 by the New Jersey Turnpike interchange in Woodbridge. All lanes are open. You could see just a little brake checking, a little bit of a slowdown, but nothing major right now. The Hudson River crossings, Lincoln is 35 to 40 minutes in. Holland is 25 to 30 in the GWB. Already 40 minutes in. Upper and lower levels looking fairly heavy at this point. The upper level is on the right. It's moving, but very slowly. Lower level is on the left and barely moving. To the West Coast, in, let's see, in it says LAFSP. You're going to help me, folks in LA, what that stands for. But that, I guess, Los Angeles South something something. There is a traffic collision reported on the 5 at Paramount Boulevard. We also have a closure of a road in East LA, and that is by the 5 and Washington Boulevard off ramp. And those are the only two issues that we have. Of course, very early in Los Angeles now at 4:18 in the morning there. Well, helping kids feel safe and confident around first responders is the mission of a unique nonprofit. The Teddy Bear Clinic is transforming childhood healthcare experiences, teaching children about first responders in a fun way so that when they see them, they don't get scared. Joining us today are co-founders Duncan Felch, Francesca Piccolo, and Samantha Shane to talk about the upcoming 2026 clinic, their new children's book, and their vision for expanding the program across the country. Welcome, ladies.
Thank you. Thank you for having us. I'm Samantha Shane. I am a teacher in Morris County, and we're very excited to be here.
And I
Hello, my
see
name.
Duncan on the right. I said ladies, by the way, excuse me, because on my wide shot, I didn't see we had a gentleman on the right. Forgive me. Hi, how are you? Good morning, everybody. And go ahead, continue your introductions, please.
Hi, my name is Francesca, and we are all from a career technical high school in Morris County, as Ms. Shade just said. And we are all very passionate about pursuing careers in education. So, some background about us: last year, we taught in preschool setting here, and we also hosted things like family nights. And with this, we saw a need for expansion. So, this is what inspired us to create the Teddy Bear Clinic, where we noticed that there were 9,958,837 911 calls in New Jersey, and who knows how many children were involved in those calls and how that impacted them personally. So with the Teddy Bear Clinic, we hope to reverse childhood experience and have long-term impact on them by getting them interacting with first responders in a calm setting.
So we are so
And
excited.
of, go ahead.
So
We
we're
do a
so
little
excited.
Q&A with you. Go ahead. Go ahead, Duncan.
We're just so excited to announce that we're going to be holding our second annual Teddy Bear Clinic on May 2nd, 2026 at Morris County School of Technology.
I'm waiting for a third.
No.
Not yet. Okay. All right. No, we want to give you the opportunity to speak about this wonderful organization. So you're all about what, 17, 18? Is that your age? Your ages?
Yeah, 17 years old and juniors in high school.
Awesome. So at what point, like, was it something earlier in the year, last year that y'all thought about this? When did you all come up with this concept originally?
So I'm their teacher. I wish I was still 17.
Ah,
But
you look it.
thank you. Last
You
year, as a
do.
class, they were really passionate about hosting family nights at local elementary schools and making an impact on helping kids learn how to read and do math and science and really bringing the community together where this idea was born. So, as a junior class last year, they decided to host this event, the Teddy Bear Clinic.
I love it. And it's coming up on May 2nd. So what
Mhm.
can kids and families expect when they show up at the event?
So when they show up at the event, we have 15 partners that will be there. So including the Denville Fire Department, Police Department, EMS, and St. Clair's EMS. They can explore their equipment and also go onto the trucks and we call it a touch a truck. So they can touch a truck and see all the equipment, hear all the sounds that come with first responders as well. And we also offer a unique station called Build Your Own First Aid Kit, where kids get to go and make their own first aid kit that they bring home. And then they have that learning that kind of joins them at the home so that in the worst case that they do have to use it, they have it with them.
Phenomenal, phenomenal. Because you don't want a child in a home when there is an emergency. Say it's just a child and one parent home alone, and the child's the only person. You want them to be calm. You want them to take control if necessary, to call 911, as opposed to being frightened. And the idea of not being frightened is so essential. This could save the entire family unit. Now, you've seen your nonprofit grow tremendously. You started with a $1,300 budget to nearly tenfold, up to $12,000. So, Samantha, how did the corporate sponsors and grants help you get to that point?
Honestly, it's been amazing to see the impact that the money has made. But I have to give the students credit. They are the ones that are going out to statewide business competitions to win money, making the partnerships. And so, with this new money that we have, we can offer more supplies to the kids in the town. We can get more giveaways to give out so that kids can, come and really get the supplies that they need as well.
And I hear that somebody recently published a children's book. Talk about Teddy and the Fearless Firefighters.
So, as a class, I have about 12 juniors, and they wrote the book together. So, we broke up into three different groups. We had a writing group, an illustration group, and then a marketing team. And so, we are self publishing our children's book. This is our cover. And so, we are going to do a three-part series. We started with our firefighter, but Teddy basically has a fire in the home, and the firefighters come. So, we can make a bigger impact when kids can read about this and then learn about the different gear that firefighters have and see what happens and what they can do to prevent fires at their own house.
Well, that's fantastic. How many people usually show up, or what are you anticipating in terms of numbers at your event?
So last year we had over 250 kids come, and then we also had another promotional event last week called Come with a Cop, where we brought kids from over 350 kids in total from Teddy Bear Clinic and Come with a Cop from 21 different towns. So we're expecting closer to 400 this year because of the outreach that we've gotten through Come with a Cop, our social media, other things like that.
That's fantastic. That's a phenomenal turn. I don't know if you saw, I wasn't on camera. I don't know if you saw my response when you said that number. That was huge. I anticipated about 100, and that would have been impressive, but that's quite the number. Can anyone share a story or an example of the impact that the clinic has had on children and first responders in the community? Has there been a specific event that you can talk about?
I think that the Teddy Bear Clinic last year as a whole just had such a strong impact on the kids. You could see in our pictures the smiles on their faces and how they were enjoying their time together, and also just walking around and talking to the kids. Like, you could see that they were really enjoying what they were doing.
And where do you see this growing in the future? Do you see this nationwide? Do you see this something that'll grow so that all communities have something like this?
We're definitely seeing that we have the potential to scale this to a national model. So we are planning on offering our curriculum to other career technical schools like our own, as well as universities. We recently just partnered with University of Michigan, and they're going to be hosting their first clinic in April of this year. So we're very excited to see that impact in the Ann Arbor area. And hopefully we can get this everywhere and in every state across the country.
Ann Arbor's a great community if you ever get out there. It's a beautiful, beautiful town. But that's a brilliant way to do it. You start by branching out, teaming up, becoming a brother sister group with a university like that. That's a huge university, and then let it spread from there. It sounds like a great plan. Can you see this getting to a point where, I mean, have you ever thought about bringing on celebrities and things like that to be spokespeople for the organization?
I mean, secretly or not so secretly now, but I would love to, meet Hoda Kotb. She's like my celebrity that I would love to get involved with. So hopefully, maybe one day we can get more celebrities involved. I know Dr. Mike in New Jersey would be awesome to have as well.
Yeah, I mean, look, there are a lot of celebrities who call New Jersey home,
Hmm.
and a lot who would be more than happy to lend their name to an organization like this. We have everything from look, hey, Michael B. Jordan just won an
Yeah.
Oscar, right? And he's from Newark, so we gotta reach out to Michael B. Jordan. Maybe he'll do that. That's a fantastic organization. I love what you're doing, and I love the fact that this is for such a good reason. We have so many emergencies that occur in the densely populated parts, especially, but all parts of New Jersey, but especially densely populated parts. Kids hear the sirens and whatnot. And just the idea that they understand the first responders are not their enemies or not somebody who's going to come to hurt them, but somebody to come to help them. And that's the wonderful thing about what you're doing. The Teddy Bear Clinic co-founders Duncan Felch, Francesca Piccolo, Samantha Shane. Thank you for what you do. Thank you for coming on this morning, and may this expand beyond your wildest dreams because it's helping a lot of people. We appreciate you.
Thank
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 you.
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 You bet. Coming up on 28 minutes past the hour, when we come back, East Hanover Township schools are making some significant changes that have caught the attention of parents. Our phone lines are open. We'll take your calls at 888-658-0234. 888-658-0234. Meteorologist Mike Favetta will be back with a forecast near you. You're watching Mornings with Ken Rosato, seen daily at 20 different streaming platforms, so there's no excuse. We're back in two. Good morning. It's 30 minutes past the hour on Thursday, March 19th, 2026. Nah, I'm not going on a job interview. I put on the tie today because these colors represent the Italian flag, even though I'm very proud of the American flag first, but the Italian flag is my heritage. And today is St. Joseph's Day. He's the patron saint of Sicily, but it's also the equivalent of Father's Day in Italy because of St. Joseph, the stepfather of Jesus. You get it. Okay. Welcome back to Mornings with Ken Rosato, live on the East Coast and the West Coast. Meteorologist Mike Favetta has the forecast near you.
This weather is brought to you by Audio Nova, your hearing experts, serving all of New Jersey with 13 locations.
Mike, I haven't worn a tie on the morning show since I worked at Channel 7. It's like I thought I almost forgot how to tie a knot.
Looks good on you. Very nice way to start the
A
day, right?
little too
Little
formal for us.
class.
We're a little
It's
more roll
okay.
sleevey here, aren't we? But it's
See,
all
you couldn't
good.
have worn that tie the other day when you were enjoying the zeppole, the traditional the St.
Exactly.
Joseph's pastries, because
Exactly.
the powdered sugar, the pastry cream, it just gets
There you
everywhere.
go.
And there they
Look to your
are.
left. There you
That's it, the
go. They were
Sfingian
so
zeppole.
good.
Mm-hmm.
That's from our friends over at Uncle Giuseppe's Marketplace. They sent that tray over, and it was, my other half who doesn't eat sweets, Mr. Bodybuilder, he said, "Well, I'll take a little bite." He had two whole ones. I was like, "Yeah, take a little bite. Get out of my way. You save them for
Protein.
me."
Protein.
Yeah,
There's
not
egg, there's
those are
cream,
so good. They made they
These
had one was cannoli cream and the other was the pastry cream.
yeah.
I usually don't like pastry cream, and theirs was just I've never tasted anything like it. It was delicious. So go to Uncle
Mm-hmm.
Giuseppe's Marketplace today. If your name has any variation of Joe, Joseph, Josephine, whatever, or Giuseppe, you'll get a free pastry, but you have to show
It's
your
my
ID.
confirmation name, but I feel like that's a stretch. I
Not
don't know.
yet. Just cover up your first name when you show
I'll
your
have to hold
ID.
up the Archbishop, declaration like here,
Yes.
here, here you go.
The bishop
Well,
says I
if
need
you're
a free pastry.
precisely, exactly. Yep. We've been abstaining from meat on Fridays, and with the weather looking great going into this weekend, Ken, you might find yourself headed out and maybe getting some leftovers, pastries, into Saturday and Sunday, because with the warm up on the way, even on the East Coast, it'll look quite nice. Have a few lingering clouds this morning, and then another round of light rain into tomorrow morning. But the pollen has been a little higher than it normally is, thanks to the trees. He's starting to bud, starting to see a little bit of the itchy eyes, the scratchy throat. Yeah, that's all due to the tree pollen starting nice and early this year with the warm up. Nothing like the heat out west, breaking records down in Southern California, as it's just been this stifling heat. The earliest that March has ever seen triple digit heat, the old record 104, they'll get up to 114 in Palm Springs. That is incredibly hot. So shattering decades old records, and going into that, we have cooler weather arriving not until Sunday. So it takes some time before the heat peaks today and tomorrow, and then we see a gradual cool down into the end of the weekend. So all of that heat stays out west. For the rest of the weekend, though, it's still pretty chilly, at least to start, going into tomorrow and especially for Saturday, but we'll eventually see some milder weather take over. That is, by the time we get to Sunday, temperatures could hit the 60s. So there's all the clear sky out west, not a cloud this morning, and it stays that way due to that high pressure. But again, as once we get into the end of the weekend, things start to cool down there. Then we have a little bit of rain moving in late Sunday into Monday, most of that heading just by to our north. We get clipped with a few passing showers, and then early next week start to see a milder trend take over with a little bit of sunshine here in New Jersey into the start of the first full week of spring. More details on that coming up in the next few minutes.
All right, sir. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. It is 32 degrees northern New Jersey, 31 degrees in Trenton. It's 32 degrees also in Cape May, and 30 degrees right now in Vineland. We take a look at the West Coast, and we have 64 degrees Los Angeles, 66 degrees San Diego. It is warm for this hour of the morning, only 4:34 a.m. West Coast, 7:34 East Coast. In terms of traffic, right now we have an issue on I-80 at 17 north. Take a look at the just a little buildup of traffic on the right side. As you can see, going onto the highway. Just could be volume at this point. We don't have any reports of any kind of an accident, but just to make you aware of that. On to Route 24. We have a crash on 24 eastbound from 287 in Hanover Township to east of Exit 2, Columbia Turnpike, Florham Park. All lanes are open. Just going to cause a little bit of a brake check for you. Disabled vehicle, outer bridge crossing westbound on the New Jersey side in Perth Amboy with the right lane blocked. And then over to the Garden State Parkway we go. A crash on the GSP northbound westbound, south of exit 129 by the New Jersey Turnpike in Woodbridge Township. All lanes are open, but nonetheless, something to look out for as it's going to be causing a little brake checking. And we go to the Hudson River crossings. Lincoln Tunnel is still 40 minutes in. The Holland Tunnel is 25 to 30. GWB upper and lower levels right now, 40 minutes. You can see the upper level on the right, lower level on the left. To Los Angeles right now, we have a traffic hazard reported in central LA. This is on the 5 by the 10, by that interchange. There's a report of a fire in central LA at the 101 and Alvarado Street, and a collision now in Santa Fe Springs at the 5 and Paramount Boulevard. 735 East, 435 West. East Hanover Township schools are making some significant changes that have caught the attention of parents and educators alike. From principal reassignments to moving fifth graders into middle school next year, it's all part of a long-term plan. Cara Musillo is a local parent and educator and is here to discuss the community's concerns. We say good morning to Cara.
Good morning.
Good to have you on. Excuse my the frog in my throat. I'm going through some kind of throes of something respiratory. I apologize. Let's start with how parents are dealing with this. First of all, this came as sort of a shock, I'm guessing, to people.
Yes, actually, it happened through word of mouth when we first found out about the principals transitioning, and that's the main problem with the district, is that there's no transparency with the parents and what goes on with the district. And this is kind of how we find out about things. So we showed up to the first board meeting asking questions about the principals being moved, because at that point we only knew about the principals. And then to leave that meeting and then find out about fifth grade. And then they had another board of education meeting where they discussed specifically the fifth grade transition. And they presented a bunch of information that really they didn't do any research for. There really wasn't any data. But we were able to do some research. I was able to contact some other teachers that were in the districts they had given us as an example that we're going to move, that had fifth grade with the middle school, and they actually postponed that decision, but they did go through with moving the principals.
So let me just get it straight. Was it normally that you would start middle school at 7th? It would be 7th, 8th, and 9th, and now next year it starts at 6th. Is that what's happening?
So East Hanover has 3 buildings. It's pre-K to 1, 2 to 5, and then 6, 7, 8. And so what they wanted to do was, we had just built an addition. We had just finished an addition. This is the second year of the addition at the 2nd through 5th grade level. So they were saying that we were growing too much and we were too big, and they had to move the 5th grade to the middle school. But they had no plan. They presented a plan. They gave us 22 schools, said, here's 22 schools that have fifth grade with the middle schoolers. And 2 of those schools right off the bat were transitioning right back to putting the fifth grade right back to the elementary schools. And it turned out that those were nothing like ours. But there's no data. The number one thing that the parents want is like, where's the data? Where's the rationale? You built an addition. You had done a demographic study. And before you even started that addition, you already surpassed the number of students that you thought you were going to have. So why did you make the addition so small, knowing that you already had surpassed that number? So basically, we just feel like the decisions aren't based on data. So what are they based on?
Yeah. I mean, at this point, are they trying to make it sound like, or trying to justify it by, for financial reasons? Is that the only reason? Because it seems this much shuffling seems a little unusual. It's one thing to combine school buildings and whatnot. I get it. But when you have shuffling of principals and shuffling of this and shuffling of fifth graders into the middle school, that sounds like an awful lot.
Exactly. So they didn't say financially for the transition, but during the board meeting where the principals actually spoke out against. So right now the fifth grade transition is on pause. But now parents feel that because they decided to move these principals anyway, that they're going to still go on with the transition. So it's not that it's off the table per se, but we don't know if it's definitely off the table. During the board meeting, the superintendent did say, she mentioned something about the principals being moved and that it would be financially something about finance. But again, these principals, they're contracted. So their salaries are their salaries. No matter what building they're in, they're not getting a raise and they're not saving money. And actually, they don't even have vice principals. So that's it. It's the principals. So when you're switching all of these principal assignments, first of all, it's unprecedented. I redid the research. I can't find one district in New Jersey that even does anything like that. Typically, you'll see a change in administration if somebody leaves. somebody retiring, a principal's not performing well, the morale is low, low standardized testing scores, unhappy parents, behavioral issues. You don't have that in this district. You have 3 high performing principals with great evaluations, high test scores, very happy parents, no behavioral issues. So what's the reasoning? Where's the data?
I mean,
Where is the
I've read things like this going on in other districts, and I'm just throwing it out there. We have no evidence that this is the case, but I know that in many of the districts around the country where you have a big influx of illegal migrants in states, especially sanctuary states, where all of a sudden you realize, wow, we have 200 additional kids we had no idea were coming because they weren't. I don't know that that's the case. That may not be the case at all. But I know an assistant principal or vice principal from a district in New Jersey who said that there was no way to plan for it, and they got this huge onslaught of students, and by law you have to accommodate them. I mean, I'm throwing it out there. Could that have been
yes.
the case? And this is why they don't want to be transparent and talk about it.
So we don't. So our influx of students isn't due to that situation. Actually, I mean, of course, we were affected by a tiny bit, but actually, they sold a giant property, and now they have did a lot of redevelopment there. So we're getting it. But believe it or not, that's what they did the demographic study for. But that's actually not where all the students are coming from. The most of the enrollment of the students is actually from turnaround of the resale of homes and younger families coming in. So older people are moving out of the town. I've been in the town since '94. I bought my mom's house. So, and a lot of my kids are friends with people I went to high school with or elementary school. So actually a lot of people stay in the community. So it's actually from the resale of homes and new families moving in. It's not actually from that. That's why we have an influx of students, but they knew this was going to happen. So they did get the study done and plan for it. Unfortunately, they didn't, when they were building, they didn't build big enough, knowing that they already had surpassed those numbers. So, yeah, but our main concern now
that makes a lot of sense. So at this point, really, it's really about, and we're out of time here, but just really, you just wish they were a little bit more transparent and gave parents some input without just like pulling the rug from under your feet and then letting you know after the fact. Kara, let's have you back on to talk about this more. Let us know after the next meeting or whatever where things go, because we'd love to hear more about this. Kara Musillo, local parent and educator in East Hanover Township. Thanks for coming on and good luck.
Thank you for having me.
You bet. When we come back, a college student from Alabama heads to Spain on spring break and disappears. We're going to be speaking with News Nation's Elizabeth Pran. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Mornings with Ken Rosato. It's 45 minutes past the hour. We'll take your calls at 888-658-0234. Meteorologist Mike Favetta has the forecast for your city.
This weather is brought to you by Audio Nova, your hearing experts, serving all of New Jersey with 13 locations.
Mike, triple digits in the southwest and creeping up very slowly in the northeast.
Yeah, starting to feel a little bit milder, just in time for spring's arrival tomorrow, Ken. So with the milder weather on the way, there are some showers that come in later on tonight. You see them here along a cold front that begins late tonight north and west of us and then eventually scooches into New Jersey into early tomorrow. So we could see another quick round of more substantial rain by tomorrow evening, work across the state from north to south. That should clear, however, just in time for a beautiful day on Saturday. Even though it'll be a little bit cooler, we eventually warm throughout the afternoon with a little bit of a breeze pushing in. And then by Sunday morning, could have a few of those early morning sprinkles, which clear, giving us some spotty showers throughout the day. But most of that just stays to the north before sliding through again later Sunday night. So there are some chances of rain this weekend, but there's also periods of nice, milder weather. Nothing like the heat out west where we kind of hit the highest level on the above average temperature because shattering temperature records not seen before there in Southern California and out in the desert Southwest. And it also stays dry through the rest of the month. So the forecast keeps us rather warm out to the west, whereas we are a little bit cooler here in just the northern part of the state of California, starting to tap into some of that abnormally dry weather where they've been pretty wet for most of the winter season out along the East Coast and especially in New Jersey, still keeping an eye on some dry conditions. But I think we have better chances of seeing some wet weather over the next few days to hopefully quell those. We'll talk more about that coming up with your New Jersey forecast, Ken, in just a few minutes.
All right. Thank you so much, Mike. And we look at temperatures 36 degrees now, northern New Jersey, 31 degrees in Trenton. It is now 34 degrees at Cape May and 34 degrees in Vineland. West Coast temperature 64, Los Angeles, 66 in San Diego. In terms of traffic, right now we have a, disabled vehicle on the Outer Bridge crossing westbound New Jersey side in Perth Amboy at the Outer Bridge crossing with the right lane blocked. Let's go over to, you want to take the the 139 camera? If you can, Pam. So 138, here you go. You have a little bit of a delay. This is Route 139 going into the Holland Tunnel. Not a big delay, but nonetheless, you can see a little buildup of vehicles now going in. It's going to cost you about 25 to 30 minutes into Manhattan via the Holland Tunnel. Should mention there's a crash on the Garden State Parkway being cleared. It's northbound south of exit 129 by the New Jersey Turnpike in Woodbridge. All lanes are open there right now. And a crash on Route 24 eastbound by 287 Hanover to east of exit 2 Columbia Turnpike in Florham Park. All lanes are currently open, but nonetheless, a little bit of a brake check through there. And your Lincoln Tunnel approach is going to cost you 35 minutes into Manhattan. GWB upper and lower levels been pretty slow all morning. Upper on the right, lower on the left, and that will cost you 40 minutes in. Off to the West Coast we go, and right now in South LA, we have the report of a vehicle fire on the 405 at Carson Street. We have another fire reported in Central LA at the 101 at Alvarado Street, and a collision now in Santa Fe Springs on the 5 at Paramount Boulevard. 48 minutes past the hour. A college student from Alabama heads to Spain on spring break and disappears. Are parents being too lax when they let their kids travel alone around the world? News Nation's Elizabeth Pran is a journalist, a podcaster, also a mom and a wife. She hosts the Saving America podcast, and she joins us now live. Good morning, Elizabeth.
Can talk about, a parent's worst nightmare, right? You do all this investment in your kid, and then you say to yourself, all right, you're 18, you're 19, you're 20 years old. I'm going to send you off in the world. And then you get news like this. And this is fairly recent. So typically in these stories, and you can attest to this, we hear about it a week later, 2 weeks later. This was at 3 a.m. on March 17th. For some of your listeners and viewers who may not be up to speed, this is a University of Alabama student. Jimmy Gracie, 6'1", 175 pounds. You can see pictures of him there. And he went over to visit some fraternity brothers in Barcelona. And the last that authorities say they have any footage of him is from closed circuit television, or recordings rather, around 3 a.m. from a beach club bar. And they do have his cell phone, but they haven't really given any other details, if they have any other personal items or how they obtain that cell phone. But Spanish authorities are saying that they do suspect foul play. So as a parent, this is an absolute worst nightmare. Because what can U.S. authorities do? The State Department can work with Spanish authorities. They can assist, they can facilitate communication between loved members, loved ones and investigators, but they can't necessarily interfere. So I think that right now there's just so much trepidation and fear. There's fraternity brothers who are staying over there, who are searching. Family members are en route. But as I mentioned, Ken, as a parent, I mean, when I read stories like this, it just makes my skin crawl because you're absolutely helpless.
Yeah, there was one report, and I don't know where it's going. One report they released last night, and I notice I'm looking now, I don't see it now, that somebody was found with his cell phone unrelated to him. So the question is, was he jumped and robbed, and the person had his cell phone? Police are not releasing that information, and now I'm looking it up and I'm not seeing it. So if that got out, maybe they didn't want that getting out. They haven't
Right.
told us not to release it, but that's a possibility because this club, Shoka, I was in Barcelona not long ago, and I know exactly where that club is. There's a whole strip. It's sort of like the party zone, and I would imagine spring break time, students all over the world. He's 20. The drinking age is 18, so they go there and they go innocent, go and have a nice time. And all you need is young men in general, a little alcohol, and God knows what could happen. So I'm just putting it out there. The thing is, we don't, I think we don't equip our younger people enough to realize if you were to get into a fight and get arrested or something here, we could come down
Absolutely.
and get you. If you're in another country and you don't speak the language, it's a whole other story. And when I hear, oh yeah, we're going down to Cancun for a week, I tell relatives, really, there are kidnappings happening right now in Cancun of Americans, and these are drug cartels, and the local government can do nothing about it.
Absolutely nothing. And I had some strict parents, very conservative parents. I wasn't allowed, but I did travel abroad, and I also lived in Spain. But we would never get separated at that time. We didn't have cell phones when I traveled abroad. I remember very clearly having to use landlines to get in touch with my family. And if you think about global travel, I pulled out some statistics. So 1 in 5 people who are traveling internationally are considered youth. And so travel is much more accessible. It's not necessarily a luxury. So when you and I were growing up, it was a big deal for us to study abroad. We had to raise money, we had to fundraise. And now, and this is anecdotally as a mother, I feel as if it's almost expected to incorporate some type of an international travel, especially when you talk millennials or Gen Z. They're just much more likely to be traveling internationally. And like you said, times are different now. I mean, we have global conflicts, and certainly there may not be more global conflicts than there was 20 years ago, but everything is moving much more quickly now. News is moving much more quickly. If a student went missing when you and I were in school on March 17th, we probably wouldn't hear about it for 1 to 2 weeks later. So everything is just much more interconnected. And I think that maybe students don't understand, as you mentioned. We can talk about Otto Warmbier. We can talk about all of these students who have traveled and not known or been accustomed to the customs of other countries. And you're right.
Yeah.
You're not in Georgia where I can get you. You are overseas. It's international. There are different laws. My hands are tied. As a parent, I don't know how you walk that fine line. I still have young children. What if they want to travel abroad? I mean, I'll be honest, I can't see it, but I don't know. I think this is just a whole new world for parents.
Yeah, Elizabeth, I mean, in Spain, as well, I'm sure, that they're in the middle of political conflict. Spain, throughout the centuries, has always been up and down, politics left and right. And right now, while America is very MAGA Trump right, Spain is exactly the opposite. They're socialist, and their leaders are very far left, and they're very anti-American in part of Spain, which wasn't the case just a few years ago. A few years ago, when I was in Spain, it was very pro-American. Right now, I have a friend of mine from the Basque region who said he doesn't want to travel to Spain on an American passport, even though he's born and raised in the Basque region, because he says that they look at you funny and they speak to you funny, and they ask you, are you a supporter of that Trump guy, and that kind of a thing. It's a whole different animal. So all you need, and not to mention, there's also the conflict of personalities and faiths. You have a big Muslim influx right now in a lot of Spain. This is like going back 800, 900 years. It's happening all over again, where you have conflict between Christians and Muslims in a lot of Spanish cities. And American students who are 20, they're just happy-go-lucky. They go there to drink, have a good time, meet a girl, meet a boy, whatever, not realizing there are a lot of international politics going on. And all you need to do is cross the wrong person after having the wrong cocktail, and who knows what could happen.
Well, Ken, and their judgment, it's not that we don't trust you and we don't love you, but when I speak with authorities, we've covered cases similar to this. They say really the number one mistake is they get separated from a group. And that's your best line of defense. And if it's 3:00 in the morning, you get separated, you get lured by a boy or a girl or what have you, or you just get confused and disoriented and you're in a foreign country, and then you're defenseless because you're not in a group. I mean, we have seen that even stateside, right? And with students traveling abroad, they may say, oh, I'm just going to go somewhere. And you mentioned Mexico, but it is unpredictable everywhere. I mean, look at you and I just 2 weeks ago were looking at coverage of tourists trapped in Mexico because of drug cartels. So I don't know if we want to keep them in a bubble. I would love to keep mine in a bubble, and I do my best. But I have to walk the fine line of letting them have some type of international exposure, and I have no idea how I'm going to do it, Ken. No idea.
It just keeps getting more and more frightening. I mean, we talk about other students this has happened to. Of course, there was the famous case of Natalie Holloway, too, who was in Aruba, and there was Joran van der Sloot. There she is, beautiful, beautiful young woman. And apparently she did exactly what you said not to do. She wandered off with Joran to go on the beach, hold hands, maybe kiss, whatever. And that was it. And he denied and denied and denied that he did anything until 2023. And he finally confessed to her murder in 2023. That poor young woman, her parents, they had nothing to bury. They had no remains, and they had to suffer all those years until that creep finally confessed to the murder of this beautiful young woman, who was the first time she was out of the country, and the first time I think her parents said further than an hour away from them, and they never saw her again. So this is again, you're right. You can't have them in a bubble, but at the same time, their first time being away may not be the best idea to be in another country. All right, shifting gears, Elizabeth, tell us what's on this week's Raising America podcast, which you could find on YouTube, by the way.
I know, I love it. Boy, we are still hitting those midterms hard. We talked to Analehia Meha, and she just won a New Jersey special election. Why do you care? Because she's running a grassroots campaign against some big juggernauts, and she talked about that campaign, her hope for the future. Very interesting conversation. I asked her some tough questions. Check it out on YouTube. We'll have it published around noon today. Thank you, Ken.
Yes, we are going to want that because we are here in New Jersey. That's our headquarters. So we definitely want to see that. Definitely the Saving America podcast on YouTube. And you can see this lady right here, not only on YouTube, she's a journalist and podcaster, News Nation's Elizabeth Pran. If you haven't watched News Nation, you should check it out. It's fantastic, and it's right down the middle. Elizabeth, thank you for coming on this morning. We'll see you again next week.
Thank you. See you next week.
You bet. And for those of you watching on LACA on the West Coast, stay tuned for your local news. If you're watching on New Jersey, we'll be back live with New Jersey news, opinion, weather, and traffic. Thanks for watching Mornings with Ken Rosato. Good morning, everybody. 8 a.m. Thursday, March 19th, 2026. It is St. Joseph's Day. These are the colors of the Italian flag for St. Joseph. Of course, I am a proud American first and wear my American flag colors as often as I can. Today being a day of Italian American celebration for St. Joseph's Day, we wear these colors. We'll take your calls at 888-658-0234. Clouds this morning, some breaks of sun later. Highs in the mid to upper 40s. We head to meteorologist Mike Favetta with a check of your Garden State forecast.
This weather is brought to you by Audio Nova, your hearing experts, serving all of New Jersey with 13 locations.
All right, Mike, here we go. You see a little creeping up of the temperatures, thank goodness. And hopefully that'll help get rid of whatever this is affecting my voice.
You could leave it behind in winter. Today being the last day of winter, it's a nice trend, bringing back warmer weather for spring tomorrow. Still chilly right now on either side of freezing across New Jersey at 8:01. We start off in Newark. Oh, they're temperatures just updating. 5 to 8 degrees warmer than this time yesterday at 8:01. So with plenty of clear sky around this morning, some high thin clouds working in, but ultimately we bring back the clear sky into this afternoon. Similar to yesterday, high temperatures warming into the upper 40s. We maybe get to 50 there by Freehold and Monroe. Even some breaks of sun there toward Ramsey and Montvale up in Bergen County. So plenty of dry weather today, but there are some showers that return as soon as tomorrow evening. You can see in the Futurecast by the end of the day, tomorrow night, you see some of these temperatures warm into the upper 40s and low 50s, and then the rain comes in after sunset. So it'll be a quick round of wet weather, which clears, bringing back lots of sunshine for Saturday, but Sunday morning could have an early morning spritz or sprinkle. And when that clears out, we're back to the clear sky by the afternoon. So the weekend has been a bit, well, up and down, especially with the chances of rain in between the breaks of sun that help us get into the 60s each day. It's going to be weather that changes so quick, it's almost like you won't know it hit you. But that's what we've been dealing with all winter, especially these last few weeks in March, kind of all four seasons crammed into one day. Probably that's what happens again on Saturday and Sunday, Ken.
All right, got it. It's changing. Times are changing. Thank you very much, sir. And hopefully, by the way, again, for those, Mike, for those, I'm getting people on the live feeds, on social media feeds saying, why are you wearing a tie? And why are you wearing those colors? Today is St. Joseph's Day. So for Italian Americans and Italians in Italy, this is the equivalent in Italy of Father's Day, right? Because Joseph was the
Yes, it is their
stepfather of
Father's
Jesus.
Day. That's right.
So you go there and they exchange gifts, and just like we do on Father's Day here, but they do it today, not in when is Father's Day? Normally June.
June, yeah.
Yes, June, you would know. You're a daddy. But nonetheless, so this is St. Joseph's Day, and we celebrate St. Patrick's Day on the 17th, St. Joseph's Day on the 19th. All these saints, it's so hard for the Protestants to keep up with us. They're like, it's a Pam is Pentecostal. She's like, it's so much easier to be Pentecostal. We don't have all this. But that is a photograph right there. That's exactly what St. Joseph looked like right there, because we had a camera.
Right. Kodak
and we
moment.
snapped a pic, and Jesus looked just like that. There you go. Thank you, Pam, for that. And thank you, Mike. Yes, Pam says Jesus was blonde. Go with it. Just go with it and pretend. When we all get to heaven, we'll say, wait, where's Jesus? He's, I'm over here. Oh, sorry. Anyway, thank you, Mike. We'll check back. I'm getting myself deeper and deeper in a hole. It is 8:04 right now. And in terms of temperatures, we have 35 degrees northern New Jersey, 31 degrees in Trenton. It's 32 degrees Cape May and 32 in Vineland. We look at our traffic. Let's go to Route 24, shall we? There is a crash on Route 24 eastbound from 287 in Hanover Township to east of exit 2. You just see a little bit of a slowdown here. And that is Columbia Turnpike, Florham Park. All lanes are open, as you can see. They're just kind of checking the brake, going a little slow as a result going into it. Your Hudson River crossings right now. Lincoln Tunnel all morning long has been 40 minutes in. Holland 25 to 30, and the GWB upper and lower levels have been on the slow side. We have upper level on the right, lower on the left. It's going to cost you 45 minutes into Manhattan. 8:05 right now, and the special general election for New Jersey's 11th congressional district is now 4 weeks away. This is the district vacated by now Governor Mikey Sherrill. Vote by mail ballots are available now with an application deadline of April 9th. Early voting options are open, including in-person machine voting from April 6th to the 14th and in-office voting through April 15th. The voter registration deadline is March 26th, meaning this is the last week, starting right now till then, to sign up before the election. The Democratic nominee, by the way, is Analilia Mejia, who is known for her work as a labor and community advocate, and Republican nominee Joe Hathaway, campaigning on conservative policies and local economic issues impacting the district. Right now, there is a news conference going on at the Pentagon. The Secretary of War, Pete Hegseth, and General Kane, they're both speaking, talking about the issues going on right now in the war in Iran. Let's talk, or let's listen in right now. If we can, Pat, let's go to the Pentagon and listen into the Secretary of War, Pete Hegseth.
Honor their sacrifice. Their sacrifice only steals our commitment. I wear this bracelet. Staff Sergeant Jorge Oliveira, he was one of my sergeants, or one of my specialists in Guantanamo Bay. He deployed later to Afghanistan, where he was killed on 19 October 2011. Killed 10 years after 9/11, 15 years ago. He was one of the 1%, the best of America. Not just a guardsman, but a law enforcement officer back home and a family man. I remember him every day, just like so many other men and women of our generation and previous generations who wear bracelets like this. Just as we will always remember those lost in this conflict. Their names are now etched into our mission and into the soul of a grateful nation. I stand here today speaking to you, the American people, not through filters, not through reporters, not through cable news spin. A dishonest and anti-Trump press will stop at nothing. We know this at this point. To downplay progress, amplify every cost, and call into question every step. Sadly, TDS is in their DNA. They want President Trump to fail. But you, the American people, know better. Yes, there are reporters in front of me, but they are not our audience today. It's you, the good, decent, patriotic American people. You, the hardworking, tax-paying, God-fearing American patriots. The media here, not all of it, but much of it, wants you to think, just 19 days into this conflict, that we're somehow spinning toward an endless abyss or a forever war or a quagmire. Nothing could be further from the truth. Hear it from me, one of hundreds of thousands who fought in Iraq and Afghanistan, who watched previous foolish politicians like Bush, Obama, and Biden squander American credibility. This is not those wars. President Trump knows better. Epic fury is different. It's laser focused. It's decisive. Our objectives, given directly from our America First president, remain exactly what they were on day one. These are not the media's objectives, not Iran's objectives, not new objectives, our objectives, unchanged, on target, and on plan. Destroy missiles, launchers, and Iran's defense industrial base so they cannot rebuild. Destroy their navy, and Iran never gets a nuclear weapon. Our objectives from.
Right. That was Secretary of War Pete Hegseth. They usually go on about an hour or so with these news conferences. So we'll be listening off air. And as necessary, we'll dip back and forth into the Secretary of War, trying to give us an update on what's happening in Iran. There have been conflicting reports. Some people saying it's escalating, it's a quagmire. Usually a skirmish like this lasts, depending, anywhere from weeks to months. So far, it's only been, as he mentioned, 19 days. But still enough that we've lost some military members, and there have been a lot of deaths of civilians on both sides. So at this point, a lot of people are already scratching their head saying, okay, is this going to end or is this escalating? And so we thought it was important to dip in and find out what the latest was. But again, we will be listening and monitoring, and we'll go back as necessary through the morning. It's 8:10 right now, and dozens of families from New Jersey are stranded in Israel as violence continues to escalate there. Gray Bull Rescue says 79 New Jersey families are among more than 300 Americans seeking evacuation help, including over 100 children. Many families are unable to leave because commercial flights are not available or fully booked. Some Americans report being told that no official evacuation flights are currently accessible to them. The situation remains dangerous with ongoing missile strikes and worsening security conditions. Tickets are now on sale for the 2026 Mizuho Americas Open, taking place May 4th through the 10th in West Caldwell. The tournament will be held at the Mountain Ridge Country Club for 2026 and 2027. LPGA Tour stars will compete with Gino Pinnacle, returning to defend her 2025 title. Michelle Wee West returns as host with a unique format featuring top pros alongside elite junior golfers. Tickets start at $35 with free admission for veterans, first responders, military members, and juniors under 17. The event will be broadcast on the Golf Channel and CBS and will remain sponsored by Mizuho Americas through 2030. A woman from Jersey City, Ibelis Gonzalez, was charged with stealing more than $86,000 using fake IDs. Investigators say she pretended to be 6 different people to access their bank accounts. She allegedly went into Citizens Bank locations and used those fake documents to get debit cards. Police say she withdrew money in person and through ATMs over a 1-month period in 2024. Police say that she was caught after bank workers in Irvington noticed something suspicious with the Massachusetts ID that she presented. When police arrived, they checked the ID and saw that it was fake. Virtua Health earned several national awards for having a strong online reputation and positive patient reviews. 4 hospitals, including Virtua Willingboro Hospital, ranked among the top in the nation, with Willingboro placing in the top 10. More than 90 Virtua medical offices also received high scores for their digital presence. In total, 102 Virtua locations scored 800 or higher out of 1,000, showing strong patient satisfaction. And a fast-moving fire tore through townhomes in Branchburg early yesterday. The blaze spread quickly through the building and caused the roof to collapse on multiple units. Several homes were badly damaged or destroyed, leaving families without a place to stay. Fortunately, no serious injuries reported. The cause of the fire unknown. And Newark plans on opening a new media high school this September focused on careers in film, TV, and digital media. The school will prepare students for jobs as filmmakers, content creators, and digital entrepreneurs through hands-on experience. Great to have that right here in New Jersey as the film industry is growing. It is now 35 degrees at 8:13, and we're back in 2 minutes. You're watching On New Jersey Mornings. Welcome back to On New Jersey Mornings. I'm Ken Rosato at 8:15. We'll take your calls at 888-658-0234. 888-658-0234. Clouds this morning, some breaks of sun later, highs in the mid to upper 40s. Straight to meteorologist Mike Favetta with the Garden State forecast.
This weather is brought to you by Audio Nova, your hearing experts, serving all of New Jersey with 13 locations.
All right, Mike. So the temperature's trying to creep up little by little in the Northeast, but Southwest, we were talking earlier when we were on LACA in the first hour, how they're getting into the triple digits in parts of Southern California today. That is brutal. And dry
Yeah,
heat
and
or not,
into
that's just brutal.
right above 111, 114, temperatures not seen in March in recorded history down in that part of the country. So very, very hot there. But our weather stays pretty cool going into this afternoon. It's the last full day of winter, and we're wrapping up winter with clear sky. A couple clouds moving in by this afternoon, but overall not too terrible, even as the clouds try and work their way through later today from New Brunswick, getting up to a high of 51, and even over Matawan, 49 degrees. It's still chilly down at the beaches with a wind just gentle enough to come off of the water. You can see that here right out of the south and east or ship bottom. The 20-mile-per-hour gusts make it feel that much cooler. That adds to the wind chill, especially each afternoon. That's why our wind chill today, 30s at the beaches, but it'll actually feel like the 50s inland. Later on tonight, with another round of chilly weather, we start off cool by the beaches. There's LBI 34, but you head a little further inland, just a few miles, and it'll be in the 50s, maybe some 60s tomorrow afternoon. That is before the cold front. So we get some rain tomorrow evening, cools us down into Saturday. We get another quick round of mild weather before cooler air comes in for Sunday and Monday. So the weather changing day by day, even hour by hour as we head into next week. Oh, noticing the clear sky right now with a few clouds back off to our west. That's our front that provides the wet weather later in the day tomorrow. So while most of tomorrow afternoon warms up nicely into the 50s, you see it here, 66 in Trenton. By the afternoon hours, it'll feel lovely toward Newark, even a nice warm finish to the day. Then the rain comes through tomorrow night, cooling us down yet again into the weekend. Briefly get back into the 60s on Sunday before another front pushes through by Sunday night, giving us another chance of some rain. So overall, a pretty decent week ahead. Grandma sneaked in there. We had our 90th birthday yesterday, in case you missed it. But for the weekend, it'll be a little bit of a wet start, but we're back in the 60s by Sunday, Ken. So very pleasant weather. And funny, while it was Grandma's birthday yesterday, following that was St. Joseph's Day today, which happens to be my grandfather's name. So it kind of, big middle of March. It was March Madness also in our household too, in more than one way.
Well, again, and we have people I see on social media asking why I'm wearing a tie and why I'm wearing Christmas colors. And for those who don't realize, St. Joseph's Day, which is it's Father's Day in Italy. St. Joseph's Day, as Joseph was the stepfather of Jesus. We This is the color of the Italian flag. And I had someone say earlier, well, did you ever wear the American flag? Like almost every day, I wear red, white, and blue. So yes, I do wear the American flag. Today is just because the name is Rosato, his name is Favetta, and so we're honoring St. Joseph's Day today. But just everybody take a nice deep breath. We're all going to be good. All right. Well, again, a belated happy birthday to Grandma and to Grandpa, named Joseph too. Hello. So there we go, Michael. Thank you, sir. It is 8:19 right now. It is 35 degrees in northern New Jersey, 31 degrees in Trenton right now, 32 degrees in Cape May. In terms of traffic, we're looking at a crash on the New Jersey Turnpike exit ramp to 278, the Goethals Bridge from interchange 13 in Elizabeth. All lanes are open. Just a little brake check through there. Let's go over to Route 24 eastbound from 287 in Hanover Township to east of exit 2, Columbia Turnpike and Florham Park. All lanes are open, but you can see a little bit of a slowdown as people are making their way that way. Over to the Hudson River crossings, it's about 25 minutes across in the Holland. It's 30 right now into Manhattan via the Lincoln Tunnel. GWB upper and lower levels been on the slow side all day. It's look, maybe that has changed. They're telling us it's 40 minutes on the upper level on the right, and it's only 35 now, lower level on the left. So just beyond this point, this is about a mile before the actual tolls. That's where this camera is. So if you could see that they're passing through that area, you have less than a mile of buildup. That's a very good thing. So that means we're probably going to be down to about 25 minutes into Manhattan very shortly on the GWB approach. It is 8:20 right now, and Colleen Joyce is the CEO of Lawyer.com. An efficient way to find a lawyer nationwide certainly is. Lawyer.com also empowers lawyers and law firms with tools to streamline their practices. We say good morning, Colleen, and you had the foresight to get that domain early on. That was so smart of you. Today you can't
Very
get any, you
early,
can't even
very
get
early.
you can't even get like pickmynose.com. Everybody has every domain, and you got the most. You'd think every lawyer in America would have been on top of that, but no, good for you. That's
Thank
fantastic.
you.
So this is what a brilliant way to have this organization, because you are a repository for all things lawyer related, right? It's not only for people looking for a lawyer, but resources for law firms. So talk about that.
Correct. Yeah, so absolutely. So the best part of what we get to do every day is we help consumers find lawyers. We like to view ourselves as this amazing matching engine, right? Where we're able to say, hey, you need a lawyer? We'll match you with a lawyer. Then we're able to go to law firms and say, hey, listen, we're not a law firm, but we know very well how to run a business. Let us help show you ways to grow and improve your business as well.
That's brilliant. And there are so many different little sub nuances of law out there. I mean, everything from, they used to call them the ambulance chasers, but
Yes.
the personal injury attorneys to the workers' comp attorneys. And then of course you have, defense attorneys, criminal attorneys, on and on and on. You don't just call somebody because they're a lawyer. You need a specialty, right? You need to have that.
Right.
So I'm sure if someone calls lawyer.com, you can direct them to that person.
Yep, absolutely. We have a team standing by answering calls every day. So we're always happy to help.
That's amazing. That's amazing. And so you can, I'm assuming, go to either the website or call a number. Do you have an 800 number that's associated with the .com?
Yeah, sure. So I can go to lawyer.com, or you can call us at 800-620-0900. And we're,
Perfect.
24/7, 365. We're always here to answer your calls.
That's great. I would imagine you get everything from, I was at the supermarket last week and somebody hit my car with a shopping cart. You get that, and then you may get the serious, like somebody just accused me of a serious crime. Whom do I call? I'm sure you get everything in between, every shade in between as well. So that's a serious thing, and it's a very good cause here. If somebody literally has the one call to make,
Yeah.
the fact that you are the one repository is a very, very good thing. What what is the typical traffic volume that you get to your website? Are we talking like thousands of people a day trying to check in and find a lawyer?
Yeah, we're helping millions of consumers every year that are looking for a lawyer. And and consumers are calling us on their worst day, right? You're not calling a lawyer because you won the lotto, maybe, but we're here to answer your calls. We've an amazing team that can handle all different practice areas, and millions of people are coming through our doors every year.
That is amazing. Do you have, what am I trying to say? Do you have franchisees in different states and you have a headquarters in one location? Is that how it works?
Yeah, so we're actually located in Basking Ridge. That's where our headquarters is. And then we have team members throughout the US as well. But HQ is where everything happens.
You are like 10 minutes away from where I'm sitting right now. Here I'm thinking you're like in Idaho or something. Wow,
No.
look at that. Typical New Jersey person with the smart brain to come up with this idea with this lawyer.com name. That's fantastic. Good for you. So do you see this growing? I mean, do you get reached out to by law firms all the time trying to be part of it? Because that's a huge thing, to be connected to something that is as simple as lawyer.com in terms of online presence.
Yeah, so we actually launched in 2012. So we've been around for quite some time. We're not going anywhere. And the good thing is that every year we keep reinventing ourselves. We pivot with the market, we change. With the birth of AI, we had to really change and adapt quickly. So we're very happy to continue to help everybody who needs a lawyer.
That's fantastic. And you guys also run events and programs. Talk about some of those and how they benefit the legal community.
Yeah, absolutely. So every year we have an amazing event. We hold it in Las Vegas. We try to get about 200 law firms that are growth minded in a room. We talk about how can we grow our law firms. We bring in some of the best speakers in the industry to talk about how they've grown their law firm. we very much believe that the way to elevate your firm, your business, is through community. So that's something that's very important to us.
Yeah, I have a nephew who's a young attorney in New York, and I've seen now in, let's say, he graduated law school in 2022, I guess 2021, 22, and already here it is 2026. He's now about to start at his third firm. So they
Yep.
they do their stepping stone, and the good thing
Yep.
with him, it's nice to see he's all different facets of law. He wants to become an expert and find out what his forte is. But it's amazing. That was my education to realize how many sub facets, especially in the
Yep.
New York City area, and nuances of law there are. Are you personally an attorney?
No, I'm not. Actually, no one at lawyer.com is an attorney, which makes it a little
Oh,
unique. But again, we know enough to know to say, call a lawyer when you need a lawyer.
right. No, that's fine. And that's just like when you call 911. It doesn't mean that a person on the other end of 911 is a doctor either, or a
Right.
police officer. They're there to facilitate. But that's brilliant that you do this. What does lawyer.com mean for the future of the legal community? You've been around for 14, 15 years already, so it's not like you're a Johnny come lately. Where do you see it going now? Again, as you mentioned, with the onset of AI.
Yeah, it's no longer can we think in terms of a year out, what are our plans? With AI, it's changing truly daily. So what we have to do is figure out where things are moving and how do we use that as building blocks to grow a better business and to have a better platform. I do think with the birth of AI, what you are going to see is now consumers have information at their fingertips, which they may not have had in the past. So I do think that this is a great, AI, the birth of AI is phenomenal for consumers because now we have information. Now we know what kind of lawyer we need, or now we know if we even need a lawyer, so that when we actually call the law firm, that intent is so much higher. And I think everybody
Mhm.
wins because of that.
Just don't use AI as your lawyer because there's a lot of false
No,
information on AI. Trust the professionals. The
know
website again
enough
is
to call a lawyer.
lawyer.com. That's it. The website is lawyer.com, based here in New Jersey. CEO Colleen Joyce, thank you for coming on this morning. All the best.
Thank you, Ken. Appreciate it.
You bet. It is 8:28. When we come back, the entire month of March is a month of giving for Jersey Mike's subs. We'll explain. And the phone lines are open. Taking calls at 888-658-0234. You're watching on New Jersey Mornings. We're back in two. Very good morning. It's Thursday, March 19th, 2026, St. Joseph's Day, which is why I'm dressed like this. It is currently 37 degrees in northern New Jersey, 31 degrees in Trenton. I'm Ken Rosato. Welcome back to On New Jersey Mornings. Clouds this morning, some breaks of sun later, highs in the mid to upper 40s. Meteorologist Mike Favetta has the detailed Garden State forecast.
This weather is brought to you by Audio Nova, your hearing experts, serving all of New Jersey with 13 locations.
So, Mike, in just a moment we're going to speak to the folks from Jersey Mike's Subs, a sub above. By the way, being that this is St. Joseph's Day, and you want to help
Yeah.
out because this is the month of giving is March for Jersey Mike Subs. So I would say that you get a hot Italian in honor of St. Joseph's Day. I
Oh,
think that would be
that's a
appropriate.
good
If
idea.
you've never had a hot
Yes.
Italian at Jersey Mike's, you have not lived a life yet. You think you've lived your life. But I'm the guy. I actually have about 30 Jersey Mike's gift cards because everybody knows I'm such an addict that every holiday they throw a Jersey Mike's gift card in my little gift, my little stockings as a stocking stuffer or whatever. But nonetheless, I'm sorry. I digress too much. So we're looking at a slight warm up here through the weekend, right? But then it gets a little chilly again
Mm-hmm.
next week.
It does get a little chilly this next week, yes, but still great weather to get out and maybe enjoy your sandwich, your sub al fresco, because milder weather on the way each afternoon. We say goodbye to winter today, the official last day of winter. Some clouds move in early this morning, but those clouds won't be around for the entire day. Similar to yesterday, I think we get some breaks of sun later on this afternoon, and inland that'll help us warm into the 50s. It's still chilly at the beaches with that wind off of the water, and if you've noticed, there's still a high level of pollen around, specifically for the trees. Those are at the moderate level, whereas the other allergens, they come a little later on in the season. There was so much water this winter, and especially this last month, the grasses, if you've noticed, they're already starting to get green nice and early. So with the dry weather around today, we'll enjoy the clear sky, but into tomorrow, there will be some clouds that return later on in the day, giving us a quick passing shower after dark. We're dry most of the day tomorrow, and then another chance of rain Sunday night into Monday. But other than that, the weekend looks pretty dry. The Futurecast plays it out nicely with the cold front that comes through tomorrow night, arriving later in the day after pretty much a full day of sunshine, helping us to climb into the upper 50s and low 60s. Once that front sweeps through, cools us down a little bit to start off chilly on Saturday, but eventually temperatures rebound by Sunday, helping us warm back into the 60s. And then round two of the rain comes in late overnight Sunday into early Monday, and that will clear out for a pretty decent start to the day on Monday. And then we'll see temperatures slowly climb into the upper 60s, especially by the second half of the weekend. Very pleasant, a little bit of a setback by Monday, cooling down a bit, but overall holding just above average going into the first part of next week. As is the case this time of year, it's always a little bit cooler at the shore with the influence of a very chilly Atlantic still, water temperatures in the low 40s, so that'll keep things slightly cooler at the coast for next weekend.
All right, Mike. Thank you very much, sir. Yes, slightly cooler at the coast, and that's always the case. What is it about? It's like 4 to 8 weeks of lag. So as the temperature on air gets warmer, on ground, I should say, gets warmer, right? Then the temperature gradually warms up in the water, but until then, the water is cooler. So if you get water wind off the water for the first
Right.
couple of months, I'm sorry, I'm really meandering.
No, but
Then
you're
you'll
right.
get
You
the
have
cooler
to
breeze.
remember that it was so much colder this winter
Yeah.
that the water temperature is now starting at a lower point. So it's going to take even longer for it to warm up to comfortable levels.
So it'll be September when the ocean is somewhat comfortable, and then
Maybe last week
October
of
comes
August
and
at
forget about it.
best.
Yeah, there you go. Nice and warm. All right, Mike, thank you very much, sir. 37 degrees northern New Jersey, 31 degrees in Trenton. It's 32 in Cape May and 34 right now in Vineland. In terms of traffic, let's go over to the 495 cam. This is by Columbia Avenue, camera number 1. This is your approach to the Lincoln Tunnel. And you can see it's pretty heavy at this hour. This is why we've been saying all morning long that it's going to cost you about 40 minutes in via the Lincoln Tunnel. So that is right there by Union City as you come up to the Helix. that's a slowdown you're encountering there. Other issues we have right now on the Jersey Turnpike exit ramp to 278 Goethals Bridge from interchange 13. We have a crash reported. That's in Elizabeth. All lanes are open. Little brake checking through there. And we have a crash now on Route 24 eastbound from 287 in Hanover to east of exit 2, Columbia Turnpike, Florham Park. All lanes are open. Again, a little bit of a slowdown, not a major problem. Other Hudson River crossings right now, the Holland costs you 25 minutes in, and the GWB has been improving. Let's take a look if it's still in a good situation. It was nice the last time. Yeah, that's pretty good. So you can see it, the car on the right there, it stops right at that point. So where the camera is exactly 1 mile to the tolls. So if you see them starting to hit their brakes there, that tells us that the in time is about 20 minutes, if that's where the brakes are being checked. So that's a good thing. That's not so bad, getting in 20 minutes from that point of the GWB. It is 8:35 right now, and Jersey Mike's Subs is celebrating its 16th annual month of giving throughout the entire month of March. And this year, the focus is on supporting athletes attending the 2026 Special Olympics USA Games. Across nearly 140 New Jersey locations, customers can donate to help athletes participate. Evan Meyer is a Jersey Mike's franchise owner, joins us to talk about the campaign. Good morning to you, Evan.
Good morning, Ken. Good to see you. Thanks for having us.
So I'm trying to, we talked to you last year. I remember having you on. This year, of course, this is St. Joseph's Day for Italian Americans. So the Jersey Mike's Hot Italian is, I think, the perfect thing that Italian Americans in New Jersey can celebrate the day with. Go in and get a Jersey Mike's Hot Italian, which is, by the way, one of my favorite subs you guys have. That and the Big Kahuna. Sorry, got to just throw it out there. So you know I'm a Jersey Mike's aholic. I told you that last year, but I just want to make sure people know. Can't be. I could eat Jersey Mike's at least 2 meals a day for the rest of my life, and I'd be just fine. So talk about the month-long plan for Jersey Mike's Month of Giving. You guys are very generous about this.
So like you said, our 16th year, Peter Cancro years back, giving and making a difference in someone's life has always been our mission statement. Throughout the month, you can come store, you can donate in-store towards the Special Olympics. This is unique. This is our second time in the 16 years that we're doing a national campaign. This year in Minnesota is the Special Olympics Games, and we are here in New Jersey supporting almost 100 athletes that are going to go in June and help compete in those games. So we're really excited about it. Wednesday, like we do every year, we finale the month with Wednesday. 100% of all of our sales go straight towards those athletes in those games to help support the inclusion and the competition and the athletes throughout the country this year.
Yeah, I think a lot of people don't realize we're not talking profits. 100% of the numbers you type into the register, including cost, is going to Special Olympics. That's extremely generous. I don't know of any other corporation that does that. It's just curious, why did you pick Special Olympics? Not that they're not extremely worthy. Why Special Olympics this year, and what does it mean for the athletes?
Over the years, we've had almost, it's typically the last few, it's been almost 200 different local charities and different groups. The Special Olympics have held some deep roots in some of our broader cities out there. And, for us, part of the culture of our company is we love that sport. We love that competition. A lot of us kind of growing up in athletics. It's very important to us to, obviously for these athletes, make sure they're well funded enough to go and be able to get to these games. It is a big production. I think there's almost 75,000, 100,000 people that are involved with this greater national game that happens every 4 years. And for us, it's the roots. It's back to being on the meat slicer, the quarterback of the store. We love that competition and drive, and just being a part of something bigger that helps everyone be included is something really special to us.
And looking at your numbers, you guys raise so much, and each year it goes up and up. If customers want to, even if they aren't hungry and they just want to donate, they can just walk in and make a donation too, right?
Absolutely. And this is, there's nothing better than when you can kind of book your team luncheon, your catering, your big event for Wednesday. We're just the vehicle that you can, obviously go in and order the food, and it'll allow you to participate in this greater program.
By the way, I'm sorry. Go, please. I didn't mean, I thought you were done. Go ahead, please.
No, okay. We broke 30 million last year. And I think our goal, obviously every year it's been going up and up and up. We need to break that and kind of keep the bar being set to a new height.
I was going to say, I did a little research and saw that your numbers each year have gone up almost exponentially. It's amazing. Everybody wants to help out a charity, but when they see that your corporation is so generous, and for the entire month raising money, but for an entire day, every franchisee there taking part and saying, "Hey, this is worthy of us giving up our profits and the cost." That's just unheard of. So again, it's next Wednesday, March 25th, a huge event. Walk us through what happens starting the beginning of the day. Everybody opens at the regular time.
Yeah, so 10 a.m. to 9 p.m. is the national. We pretty much walk into the store anywhere from 4 to 5 a.m. We start baking the bread. All the produce is fresh sliced, all the bacon's cooked day of. Everything is kind of a big production to help execute the lines that we hope to be at the door throughout the day. I always joke it's probably one of the greatest employee retention programs we've ever built, because our teams care so much about what they're putting their efforts into. And it's all hands on deck, whether you're a typical in-store crew member, or if you're somebody who's maybe supportive on the back end of the office. You're in the store that day and you're helping produce that food to serve these communities. And it's great. The way that it's kind of snowballed over the years, and every year it gets busier and busier, it really does restore your faith in us as people. It's a great thing and a great cause.
When I walk into, again, because I make no secret of the fact that I'm a big Jersey Mike's fan. When I walk into one of my local Jersey Mike's, I just moved a little over a year ago, so I had to find new Jersey Mike's, and I found them, two of them. And when I walk in, they already know who I am. So when I do my order on the app and I walk in, before I don't even have to walk to the end. They point, like they know exactly as I'm coming in who I am, because I'm there so often, and they just point that they have the bag ready. This type of personal friendliness and warmth that your staff has, is that part of your training? Because usually you go into a lot of stores, you don't get that kind of warmth and personality.
Yeah, I'd love to give credit to John Hughes here. He's been involved with the training program with Jersey Mike's for 44 years or something. The most important aspect is who we're bringing into our teams and our family. And obviously those people, we can train you how to put the onions and lettuce on a sandwich. It's the relationships that you can kind of build with the people around you. We're only 3 feet away from people on those frontline counters there. And we want to kind of create that environment and keep that going as we build the brand across the country and now the world.
Well, listen, I think I told you last year, half my family has the name Cancro, for real, although we're not related to the founder. But for real, when I heard that there was a Peter Cancro, I thought, that might be my uncle or something. Nonetheless, tell everybody your website for more information.
JerseyMikes.com. If you don't have it today, like Ken does, get that mobile app. You can obviously place your orders in advance. Wednesday, we are hoping to break some records. So if you don't have it today, go to JerseyMikes.com. You can place it through there, but download that mobile app. You can place the order and it'll be ready on the tower, so that as our teams get to know you, they can point and be ready for that pickup.
Just like me, they'll point. There it is, Ken. All right, a reminder
Ken's
again,
here.
March is Jersey Mike's 16th annual month of giving. And again, next Wednesday, March 25th is the big day, Jersey Mike's Day of Giving. Jersey Mike's franchise owner, Evan Mayer, thank you so much for coming on this morning. Best of luck for the rest of the month and next Wednesday.
Thank you. We'll see you then. See you Wednesday.
You definitely will. Thank you. And when we come back, we're going to talk more. We have lots more ahead, so don't go away. Clouds this morning, some breaks of sun later. Highs in the mid to upper 40s. Back in 2 minutes. Welcome back to On New Jersey Mornings. I'm Ken Rosato at 8:45, and we'll take calls at 888-658-0234, 888-658-0234. Clouds this morning, some breaks of sun later, highs mid to upper 40s. Right to meteorologist Mike Favetta with a final check of the Garden State forecast.
This weather is brought to you by Audio Nova, your hearing experts, serving all of New Jersey with 13 locations.
All right, Mike, here we go. So it's a little milder today than yesterday because yesterday felt bitingly cold. It really
It
felt
did,
chilly.
I know. It did. And today, a little bit milder, but the real mild weather comes in this weekend with highs in the mid 60s. It'll feel lovely away from the ocean. Wanted to point out for the first time all winter, northwestern New Jersey no longer in an extreme drought. So no red on this map, always a good sign. Just that shade of orange, still a little bit of a drought there in the northwestern corner of the state, but down the shore, you are technically out of the drought, given all of the rains we've had, and of course the snow, the piles that are still melting in some of these parking lots. Today, the sunshine breaks through from Hackensack out toward Jersey City. Temperatures climb into the upper 40s, which is closer to average. The big dry patch of weather remains for throughout the rest of the month out in the desert southwest. We see equal chances of rainfall, and we have a couple shots upcoming this weekend. But cooler weather on tap through the first few days of April as that heat is locked out toward the southwest with that unusually and very warm weather there. So we tap into the 60s this weekend, but it's not all dry because there's a few shots of rain late tomorrow night into early Saturday morning, and then again Sunday night into Monday. Then into next week, we gradually climb back into the 60s by later next week. So it's a little bit of a cool down for the next week or so, but ultimately see those temperatures climb back up into the 50s this weekend at the beaches, and then with some wind that comes in about a week from now down the shore, highs will be in the mid 60s there too. So improving conditions, Ken, into the first week of spring.
See how positive you are? Look at Mike, all
I
positive,
try.
improving,
I
improving.
try.
And instead of focusing on the negative on this St. Joseph's Day, which is why we're dressed in the Italian flag colors. And we're going to go, let's see if Chris left me the last wonderful, what do you call it? Zeppole di San Giuseppe, the last one. So the one I said, just save me half, even if you save me half of the cannoli cream one, I'll be good for the day. I'm a happy camper. So go celebrate St. Joseph's Day. Whether you
You as well.
understand what it's about or not, go celebrate. All right, Mike. Thank you so much, sir. We'll check back tomorrow. No, long weekend.
Next
Enjoy on
week.
Monday.
That's
We'll see
right.
you. Thank you. You
Bye
got
bye.
it. All right, you bet. It is 37 degrees northern New Jersey, 31 degrees in Trenton right now. And in terms of traffic, we have a crash on the Jersey Turnpike exit ramp to 278 Goethals Bridge from interchange 13 and Elizabeth. All lanes are open. Let's take a peek, if we can, over at the approach to the Lincoln Tunnel, the Helix approach. You could see on the 495, there's a bit of a buildup, just the volume traffic as people are trying to make their way to there you go. You can see the people in the middle. This is our director Pam's favorite shot because you can see the Lion King ad that usually pops up there on the left for the billboard. Although now it's Aladdin, so it's yet another Disney themed billboard. Very fun, but I guess they must have the rights to that billboard. It's a great billboard as you make your way into there it is. There's Lion King. Now we got Lion King, which, by the way, if both shows are fantastic if you haven't seen them. Lion King, I've seen 3 times. I'm digressing. And anyway, but you have a little bit of traffic. It's going to cost you about 40 minutes in via the Lincoln Tunnel. One other crash we have right now, it's New Jersey Route 24 eastbound from 287 Hanover Township to east of Exit 2, Columbia Turnpike, Florham Park. All lanes are open, just a bit of a slowdown. The Holland Tunnel is going to cost you about 30 minutes in right now. GWB upper and lower levels was bad before, and now the GWB approach is actually not so bad at all. It's going to cost you only about 20 minutes in. You can see some motion there, upper level on the right, lower is a little bit better on the left. It is 8:50 right now. And for those also wondering what's going on with the Jersey Transit, NJ Transit, they had to reduce their rail service by 50% leading up to throughout the month of February to March, and it was until March 15th. And that is because they had to bring into service their new Portal North Bridge that the train goes over. The old Portal Bridge was always getting stuck in the upright position. They literally had guys who would come out with sledgehammers and bang the gears because they would get rusted in the open position. Well, the darn bridge was over 100 years old, like 115 or 116 years old. So they will, I'm assuming, take that down now that they built and put in place the Portal North Bridge, which apparently is working like a charm. So this thing is working great. A lot of the delays that they had been having before, they're not having now because the bridge is not getting stuck on the opposition. Ships can go in and out. So that is the good news with the Portal North Bridge. Pam, you got to keep me updated here. All right, let's go to A Block, Pam. A Block. All right, we'll start with A Block. All right, so in terms of news, Israel has killed yet another senior official, Iranian military leader, Ali Larijani. Iran has been retaliating using cluster bombs sent on missiles to Israel, causing deaths and damage in some areas. As a result, tensions between Iran and Israel are on the rise. Iran's Supreme Leader Mojtaba Khamenei warned that those responsible will pay for the attacks. Oil prices have jumped above $100 a barrel, raising concerns about higher gas prices worldwide. Shipping in the Strait of Hormuz has been disrupted, affecting global trade. The U.S. government is taking steps to increase the world's oil supply. Technology groups tied to AI and cryptocurrency spent millions trying to influence Illinois' primary elections. That's why I'm pronouncing the S. It's Illinois apostrophe S, primary elections. The spending mainly targeted Democrat races and supported candidates seen as less likely to regulate the industries. Many of the candidates backed by these groups lost, showing that they still have political influence limits thus far, but that could change. Some groups spent heavily against the candidates, like Juliana Stratton, who still won her race. The spending sparked debate within the Democratic Party about corporate influence in politics. While he was once considered a darling for America's far left, Cesar Chavez, a communist-embracing iconic civil rights leader who died in 1993, is now accused in a new report of sexually abusing girls and women decades ago. Dolores Huerta, who is co-founder of United Farm Workers, said that Chavez pressured her into sex once and forced her in another encounter. Two other women told investigators Chavez abused them when they were 12 and 13 years old. The report is based on interviews with more than 60 people and a review of union records and other materials. Chavez's family said they are shocked and saddened and asked for fairness as the claims are considered. It is 8:53 right now. Excuse the sight of my head, but we are going to bring on our guest for this morning. Lowe's Jersey Theater in Jersey City is one of the original Wonder Theaters when it was built 9 decades ago. It was designed to be one of only 5 of the most opulent, technologically advanced facilities in the entire nation. And now it is set to reopen this fall after being closed for over 40 years. This $130 million restoration preserves the theater's historic charm while transforming it into a state-of-the-art venue for concerts, film, theater, and special events. Joining us today is Bruce Wheeler, General Manager of Lowe's Jersey Theater, to talk about the restoration. Good morning, Bruce.
Good morning, sir. How are you today?
Great. Sorry, we were having some technical issues back and forth, so we did a little tap dance. Glad to have you on finally, because this is a big deal. So when this facility opens, do you see it becoming one of the crown jewels of Jersey City?
Oh, we certainly hope so. This is a theater that has been around, like you said, well over 90 years. I actually have family, aunts and uncles and parents that used to frequent the theater, and they loved it, seeing films there and performances. So we're looking forward to this renovation being concluded and bringing a beautiful property back into Jersey City, into the Journal Square area.
So this wasn't just one of the, I mean, there were a lot of great opulent theaters back in the days in the 20s and 30s. This was called a wonder theater because this was raised a level. This was sort of like the Vatican of Lowe's theaters, right? This was one of only 5 that were brought to this level. So it must have been heartbreaking to look up and see the decay that occurred when it was left to be in decay. But you guys have spent a lot of money restoring this. Talk about the process.
Phelps and Jersey City are all involved in moving forward with this restoration. The theater had been, I guess, run down. I had never been in it until I began working for the company. But the restoration itself is beautiful. There's scaffolding all up and down so they can reach the dome and the ceilings and the higher parts. And the team that's in there being directed by Phelps and their renovation and restoration people is just second to none. And we can't wait to get our doors open and have patrons from Jersey City and elsewhere come through and just see what a wonderful establishment it is.
And this is not just going to be for movies, right? This is going to be all flexible. So you'll have different types of performances. Talk about that.
Hmm. Well, movies were pretty much where the theater started off. They were doing some live performances as well. The division that HBSC and we have for it is more of a live performance space where you would see concerts and comedians, and also the space will be open for events, whether they're corporate events or private events. So really, it will be a pretty varied list of programming. Also, we want to be able to serve the Jersey City community as well. So we'll be looking forward to welcoming local events. And also, like I said, if people want to come in and do a party or corporate event or a bar or bat mitzvah, then we would definitely want to speak with them.
What is the capacity of the theater?
It's a bit flexible. With all of the seats down, it seats a little short of 2,700 patrons. But the way we're setting it up, the orchestra level down at the bottom, those seats are temporary. So they can be put in or they can be taken out. And if we have all of the seats out, the capacity is closer to 4,000. And that will really help serve a lot of different types of events. Some performers like to have that general admission, people standing
Hmm.
energy, while others prefer for people to sit down. Also, it can make it where the floor itself can be used for things other than people. We can put tables and chairs down there to do a big, seated type of event. So a lot of flexibility there, which we're excited about.
Yeah, 4,000 at max capacity with general admission. That's quite a venue for a live act. I'm sure they would love that. And it's nice to see Jersey City get something of its own, like Montclair has the Wellmont. We see how successful that's been for them. Jersey City deserves a crown jewel like this. Lowe's Jersey Theater, look forward to its opening this fall and expect it to further revitalize an already amazing Jersey City. Bruce Wheeler, General Manager of Lowe's Jersey Theater, thanks for coming on this morning.
Thank you, Ken. Appreciate the time.
You bet. Have a great day. And meteorologist Mike Favetta says clouds this morning, breaks of sun later, highs mid to upper 40s. That is on New Jersey mornings for your St. Joseph's Day, Thursday, March 19th, 2026. I'm Ken Rosato. We'll see you again tomorrow morning, starting at 7 a.m. Have a great day.